my name is Savitri. I'm from 5C class. In this learning, I use the direct instruction method with the topic narrative text in age junior high school. Direct instruction is the learning method which the teacher becomes the center in delivering material. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you stay in healthy. Okay, this session we will discuss a new material that is narrative text. Before that, I will deliver the purpose of learning. The first one is students are able to understand the definition and structure of narrative text. And the second one is students can identify meaning or moral value that contain on the text. The third is students are able to understand type of narrative text. And the last is students are able to understand the characteristic of narrative text. Now we start our learning material. You can see screen definition of narrative text. So, narrative text is the text where the content in the story have more relate chronological event. In this narrative text can be called also as a fictive story which is not contrary true. This text is based only the imagination of someone who purpose to entertain the reading or watching it only. Now we move to explain about the characteristic of the narrative text. There are three characters in the narrative text. The first one is the narrative text using the action verb that done by the rule in the text like human, animal, and etc. For example, like running, fighting, and etc. The second is a narrative text using properties show that we can see the characteristic in the text based on such adjustment. And the last is the narrative text using conjunction. For example, and, or, then, after that, and etc. We will discuss the structure of narrative text. The first one is orientation. In this orientation, introduce the introduction of the text like who, when, and where the story happens. The second is complication. In this session, explaining the beginning story of a problem can be called cause of problem. It is usually in this session which is the most highlight is its main role. The third is resolution. At this part of the end of the story that has a happy ending or sad ending depends on the end of the problem. And the last is reorientation. In this session, can there be more value that can be taken from the story? Before we go to the next discussion, is there any question? No? Well, we continue to the type of narrative text. There are several kinds of narrative texts. The first one is fables. They story usually use animals' role to the story. The second one is legend. The story usually tell origin from a place. The third one is folk tale. Story of people who activate based on their tradition. The first one is fairy tales. Children's story containing the miracle element usually and with any meaning or moral value. That the explanation for me to our material today. Is there any question or understanding? No? Alright. Now I will give you an example of a narrative text. and you can worry about which I give you later. Okay?
This is a story about Malin Kundang. He was a boy from a very poor family who lived with his mom. His father is a sailor, but he had already died. Malin was a smart boy, but a bit naughty. He always chased a chicken and hit it with a broom until one day he slipped off and hurt himself. The wound left a scar on his head. When Malin grew up, he decided to go to city so one day he will become rich by the time he went back to the village. Malin's mother disagreed with his decision because he was the only one she had. But Malin had already made up his mind. His mother had no other choice but to let her only child go. Malin was traveling by sea, so he came along with one rich merchant. He was hoping to become one of his crew and learn from that merchant. Malin went to any place wherever the winds took him. Soon he will become a great successful man. Many years has passed since then. Malin has become a rich merchant because of his hard work and married the most beautiful girl in the world. And he had forgotten his mother as well as the village. On the other hand, Malin's mother was getting older. She missed her child so much that she had always wait for Malin's return at the harbor every day until one day there was a merchant who stopped by the village. She knew it was Malin the moment she saw him. What makes her so sure is because of the scar on his hand. But Malin denied her as his mother because Malin felt ashamed to his wife and the crew. Then he was gone. Malin's mother was really upset. Then she started to curse him. On his journey, Malin's ship began to shake, and soon it turned into a story. Until now.
On the story of the Malin Kundang, please identify the structure and moral value. What do you get from that story? Please work in the assignment book. You can collect after you did it. Good luck! That's all about learning videos that apply the direct instruction method. I hope with this learning can help you in the learning process. Thank you.